Hello, world. This is your trusted teacher. Welcome to the Wisdom Way with Apostle James Glenn. It's my desire to impart wisdom from notable quotes, proverbs, and axioms that we trust will provide essential principles for living, truths that transform, keys of wisdom that will guide you toward your destiny. The notable quote today: you become what you think about most of the time. You become what you think about most of the time. What have you been meditating upon most of your morning, your afternoon, and your day? How you're living right now could possibly be because of what you've been thinking yesterday. It's important that we move on in life. I need to say that right up front. It's important how we move on in life because we're no better than our last pain. We can go no further than our last pain. So if you're still stuck in an episode and a situation in your life that was painful and traumatic, you've decided not to move on, or maybe you don't know how to move on, it's important that you get help. It's important that you help yourself. It's important that you move beyond that pain that you're thinking about often, that trauma that you've experienced in the past, in your teens, you're in your 30s and 40s now, and that you begin to think beyond that. You settle that, you bring closure to that, whatever is the healthiest way to do that thing, and then you begin to think forward. Type that now. Think forward. If you're always thinking in the past, you will never live the reality of your present. If you're always looking in the past and thinking in the past, type this down, you will never live the reality of your present, the present moment. That's very important. And so you become what you think about most of the time. We're going to talk about this whole point of thinking here. But let me give you a little background. Research suggests that thoughts arise through complex interactions of the brain's 100 billion nerve cells called neurons. That's right, 100 billion nerve cells. That is incredible. And the neurons interact with each other via dendrites and axon terminals, which are branch-like tentacles that surround neurons. Neurons can transmit and receive electrical nerve signals at speeds approximately 200 miles per hour. That's right, 200 miles per hour. Just wanted to give you a little background of how wonderful and powerful and marvelous we've been made. This is actually incredible. So you see how important our thoughts are and what we do with our thoughts and how our thinking can create wonderful things in our life. How are you thinking? Because we become what we think about most of the time. Now, we find, though, in life the destruction of our thoughts and these neurons and such that I just forementioned. That's through drug abuse and through alcohol, just to name a few, killing the brain cells. That is very destructive. And we need to help those out of that mindset and out of those addictions so that they can think forward. So type that in, think forward. That's very incredible and very important. Now, it reminds me of the John Roselius commercial, the brain on drugs. Remember that? He took the egg. He said, "This is your brain." He took the skillet. He said, "This is drugs." And then he fried the egg on the skillet. And he said, this is your brain on drugs. Any question? Wow. But this is what drugs and alcohol and these substance abuses are doing to the brain cells. And of course, this, well, I won't go there. I was going to talk about smoking drugs as well, but any form of drugs. Now, it's important that another line comes into view here then. Your mind is a terrible thing to waste. Please type that in now. Your mind is a terrible thing to waste. Now, many psychologists define thinking this way. So now let's get right to the crux of why we're bringing forth this notable quote here today. The psychologists define thinking as mental exertion aimed at finding an answer to a question or the solution of a practical problem. Here are some six important keys or points that one considers where we get our belief system, our thinking, our belief system, the reality map, if you will, as to who we are presently in the 3D dimension that we're living. He says, first of all, these experts rather, authority figures. He then says culture, role models, past experiences, knowledge, and reflection and contemplation. Let's begin. Authority figures, parents, teachers, pastors, coaches, trainers, mentors, especially as it begins our years of living. These were critical people in our life to help shape and form our belief system. And then culture, that being our faith, our family traditions, and politics even, movies that we watch, and the music that we listen to. And then role models from musicians and scientists and artists, fictional characters even. And then past experiences, be it memorable or traumatic, knowledge, learning and discovering new things. So one should always be Googling and reading and listening to books, on your phone or however you're reading the paper. Some of you are still doing that. But however it is that you're ever learning, age doesn't stop you. Whatever disabilities you claim you have should not stop you, because I could talk about my disabilities growing up, and I'm amazed at who I am today. To God be the glory. Knowledge. And then finally, he says, reflection and contemplation, actively introspecting to better understand our beliefs, thought patterns, and how they affect us. So those are the six critical points that interplay to make up our belief system and how we think. So what are you thinking about here even this morning? How have you been thinking? Are you thinking the same thoughts you thought yesterday and the day before that, and etc.? Or have we brought closure to much of that so that we can think forward? That's very important. Now, I want to talk about this. Our thoughts create our words. Our words then begin to produce actions, and then those actions to habits. So you see, as I'm closing out here, it's important how you and I think. Are we then pessimistic or optimistic? Are we fearful or faithful? Worrying or resting? Regret, or is it regard? Yes, we've made some bad choices, decisions, relationships, on and on it goes. But you can't get stuck there. We must move forward and move on. We regard it, we chuck it up for wisdom, trial and errors, and a learning lesson for us, and we move forward. Let me then lastly say, we must spend time to imagine, to meditate, so that we can project and forecast our future. Let me say that again. We must imagine and meditate to project and forecast our future. Yes, spend time to imagine. Imagine. Begin to project where you're going, how it looks. Walk it out. See yourself walking in that partnership, that entrepreneurship, that better marriage and better parenting and being that author and whatever. And see yourself writing that book. See yourself completing it and having your debuts, and imagine, walk it out, scene by scene, page for page, if you will, and forecast that out, and then bring it back to you in your present and declare this is who you are right now. Because if you say one day I'll be, one day I'll tell you this is going to happen, that day will never come because you're still pushing it out there. Bring that to you now and say that this is who you are right now. Okay? Very important. Own your thoughts. Don't defer your thoughts to others. Don't let others guide you their way. Own up on your own thoughts. Guard them with all of your strength and your heart. The notable quote: what you think about most of the time is determining who you are. But better said, you become what you think about most of the time. Let me speak over your life. I declare that this is a miracle Monday, a miracle day of destiny for you, a day of recovery and discovery. This is the best day of your life. The heavens are opened over you. Men's hearts are open to you. You will only succeed and not fail because you will be the head and not the tail. Your path is bright. You are brilliant, loving, and kind. All that belongs to you is attracted only to you. Your dreams are coming to pass this day. All are yours because it's attracted to you right now. Hallelujah. And all systems go winning on your wisdom way. Remember Proverbs 3:6, in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. If you would like to contact me, it is Apostle J. Glenn at AOL.com. If you would like to donate, it is Cash App, $ James L. Glenn, capital J, capital L, capital G. Apostle James Glenn signing off. Thank you. And remember your wisdom way.